Hello! Today I'm reading chapter 13 of Out of Touch, Out of Time, Ray, ex-female listener. And I know I posted chapter 12 earlier today, but I just got the sudden urge to read right now. I just posted a Sally Face, ex-gender neutral. Oh my god, I can't talk. But yeah, I just posted that I don't know, an hour ago or something. But I don't know, I'm really in the groove right now, so I hope you enjoy. Chapter 13, There's a Traitor. Norman will be it, and everyone will run away, you say, sitting between Emma and Ray on the ground. We pretend it's a game, but in reality we're training, Norman explained. That way Mom doesn't find out. Emma and I will teach them how to use their bodies, but for their brains, you trail off, looking at the two boys. Norman smiles at you. Leave it to us, he says, referring to him and Ray. During free time outside, Emma and you ran with all the children along the forest, jumping over bushes, over rocks, climbing up trees, and walking over streams on tree trunks. Come on, guys, you can do it, you shout out to them as you run across the tree trunk with Emma, and some of the children fall into the water. Lonnie was hiding behind a tree when Ray creeped up on him. Don't rush, he said, looking at the smaller boy. Lonnie gasped at Ray's presence behind him. Think, what can you do to escape? Norman won't overlook things like that. After about an hour, the children began to get stronger strategies, creating fake footprints, covering up their tracks, and checking which way the wind was going so that it would be easier to figure out which way would be easier to run. Thoma was running down a hill and jumping down a tree onto the ground to escape Norman. This is great, I can last longer than before, Thoma said out loud proudly. Suddenly, Norman creeped up behind him and put a hand on Thoma's shoulder. Ah! Thoma screamed. I can't believe he caught me. I thought I was doing so good. Thoma whined, laying on the grass by the house. You can't just leave your own footprints. You have to check for your opponents too, Ray said, sitting under the tree. Really? Thoma asked. Norman's really good at reading your habits. For example, you. Ray felt eyes burning through his skull. He looked up to be met with Krone's creepy smile staring into his soul from across the garden. Emma came up the hill holding some of the small children's hands, and you followed carrying Yavella in your hands. Krone walked up to the children. Playing tag looks so much fun. I want to get along with everyone, so let's play tag, shall we? Let's set up a match for about 20 minutes, and I'll be it. Everyone go and run and hide, Krone sang creepily. Krone stood at the tree with her hands on her eyes, counting to 10. 7, 8, 9, and 10! Krone shouted, twirling around with her hands in the air. Let's see what this woman's special children can do. Ray, you, and Norman were standing together in a circle deep in the forest. So, how will the enemy make their move? You ask. She will probably look for us, oldest, first, Norman said. And on the way, she will probably try to capture as many of the other children as she can, Ray said. Probably something like that. The trio split up, heading different directions as Krone ran very fast through the forest, coming to a halt as some footprints in the mud caught her attention. Fake ones? She asked, putting a hand on her right ear to hear any noise of movement. And why so quiet? She bent her body backwards, a wide grin growing on her face. I suppose I will have to get serious, she shouted. Ray, you, Emma, and Norman all hid in the branches of a tree, being covered by many green leaves from the shelter of Krone. She's not coming after us at all. Did she change her strategy? Emma whispered loudly, and out of nowhere, a swarm of little children appeared on the ground below them. What is going on? You asked, about to hop down the tree to save the children, but Ray grabbed your arm. Stay here, it could be a trap, he said, holding her back. The minute you were pulled back, Krone appeared, hugging all the children in her arms, bringing them back up to the house. As soon as they were out of sight, Emma was the first to hop down, followed by the others. She picked up a leaf that was shaped in a heart cut out. Norman also picked one up with a star shape in it. She used these to lure them in, he said nervously. She's not stupid, Ray added. Krone kept catching lots of children, leaving the older ones in shock. As time trickled by, more and more children kept getting caught. Lonnie started to get chased by Krone. He was screaming and crying. He quickly made it into the bottom of the tree trunk. But not much time later, Krone broke it with her hands, catching the poor boy. Emma watched from afar, quietly examining Krone's every move. Lonnie ran back up to the tree by the house. Listen, guys, Sister Krone is impossible to beat, he shouted out of breath. It was insane. She chased me down, Dawn said, sitting next to Gilda and Anna. She was way faster than Norman, Gilda added. Krone had her eyes on Phil and Sherry, who were standing in the forest waving at Emma, who was also heading in their direction. Before Krone could snatch the two up, Emma grabbed them and held them in her arms, running as fast as her legs could carry them. For your mouths! Emma shouted at the two children. They listened to her and put their hands over their mouths. Krone kept chasing them through the bushes, as she was determined to catch the three. Emma jumped down a cliff, trying to lose Krone, but she kept following her. Emma hid behind some big rocks, hoping to lose Krone. Krone looked around the rocks and couldn't find the children. Running and carrying two children. You must be all out of energy, Emma, Krone said. Emma held her hand over her mouth, nervously sweating and out of breath. To move again, you must rest. Did you know Norman's weakness is his physical strength? I heard he was quite feeble when he was younger. Ray's weakness is that he's a little too quick to give up. He makes decisions too fast and abandons them just as quickly. Another weakness of his is a certain girl. He is willing to do anything for her, even if it costs him to lose everything. Yasmin's weakness is her confidence, making her feel quite useless. She doesn't understand herself, even if she knew her strength. And your weakness, Emma, is you're naive. Like how naive you are to be carrying others when you're being chased yourself. Give up and come out. I won't do you any wrong. Listen, Emma, if you saw the harvest the other day, Krone trailed off purposefully to get Emma. Emma gasped, her eyes widened. Then you'd know that I'm on your side. Krone finished, looking down at Emma from behind the rock. Emma gasped and retreated back to the house with the children. 3 more to go. How much time does she have left? The children back at the house asked each other. 8 minutes and 40 seconds. She was right on Norman, Ray, and yours track, following you closely behind as they all sprinted through the forest. The trio decided to part ways, Norman running left to the hill, and Ray dragging you by the hand down a pathway out of sight. Krone decided to follow Norman as he would be easier to catch, or so she thought. She followed him through the bushes and trees until she lost sight of the boy, only to find him standing at the top of a high rock looking down at her. So, these are the perfect scorers of Gracefield. I should have gone after the special products to get more information. Krone thought out loud, which made Norman's eyes widen. Special product? He asked himself, confused by her words. These top scores are truly elite. She just stood there, gazing up at the platinum blonde-haired boy, until you tapped Krone on the shoulder. Time's up, you said, Ray holding a pocket watch in her face, with one hand with yours intertwined together. When you all arrived back at the house, all the children were cheering for the trio. You felt a small bit embarrassed from all the attention, but tried to act normal with a smile. Yay, they did it! Well done! We knew you could do it, Princess Yasmin, Jemima shouted as she hugged your leg. Princess Yasmin? Norman asked, confused. Long story, don't go there. You answer his question with a giggle. Norman, Ray, Emma, and Yasmin, Krone said creepily, smiling. Sister hasn't done anything since tag, Emma said as the four eldest stood in the pantry trying not to draw attention. Probably Mom's orders, Norman said. Yeah, Mom used to suspect us, but it doesn't seem like that anymore, you say, leaning against the shelf. I wonder why, Emma asked. What do you think, Ray? Norman asked the boy who was standing next to you. What do you think, Norman? Ray asked. Emma and you looked at each other, confused at the sudden, tense atmosphere. Well, I think Mom did something behind the scenes so she wouldn't have to do the moves herself, Norman said. What do you mean? You ask. What do you think would be the easiest situation for Mom? Norman asked. You. That would be to know our every moves without having to make them herself. But there's no security cameras or listening devices. Wait, that means... Your eyes grow wide with fear. Emma looked at the girl, realizing what she figured out. Yeah, there's probably a different person watching us among the kids, Norman finishes. So, there's a traitor, you finish, almost feeling sick. Ray's gaze at you softened as he realizes the pain in your voice. Phil ran around the house waving a small bell that they used to signal dinner was ready. Dinner! The small boy shouted, running down the halls of the house. Ray and Norman brought out the pots of food that you had cooked. You brought out the plates with Emma. Soon the dinner hall was filled with laughter and smiles as the younger children took their seats at different tables. I'm hungry. Me too. I can't wait for tonight's dinner. Yasmin cooked it. Yay! Some of the children said, which made Emma feel guilty for ever thinking that they could be the traitor to her. Phil just smiled at Emma, and Gilda stared at her. So did Mom. You patted Emma's shoulder. Let's go, Emma, you say with a fake smile. Emma follows along your side to the table to lay out some plates and forks. Okay, that was chapter 13, done and dusted. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever. This is my third frickin' video today. But yeah, I hope you liked it. I think I said that already. Yeah.